All right. Good evening. Okay, which one should I? I should look at this one. Good evening, everyone. So good to see all of you online. Wait, did I? I did turn it online. Okay. Good evening, everyone. Sorry. Still trying to figure out how to get this thing on because need to go online and then still need to juggle all these things that's on the table. I did promise you tonight I'll bring someone. Actually, I not just bring someone. I bring some too. Okay, wait. So after this video, I will show you the someone. Okay, let's watch it. You see, I keep forgetting about this. Ta-da! One more time. Sebastian and James, or most people call him Pastor James. So tonight, we want to come and share with you some of the things that we have been through as a church ministry. So wait, I also want to turn on some sound music. If not, a bit lonely here. Okay, so Sebastian.
Yes.
How are you?
Good today.
Have you taken your breakfast?
Yeah, sure.
No, I mean tomorrow. Okay, never mind. So have you taken your dinner yet?
Not yet.
Not yet. No?
Yeah.
Okay, so we will go for a dinner later, maybe on our own, maybe together. That is for us to know, for you to find out. Okay, so music very loud. Huh? Okay, I clearly don't want music already. Okay, so let me just first start it off by what I want to share with you. I prepared some slides, so while you listen to my voice, I will show you the slides so that you also know what I'm talking about. And okay, let me first share with you the media ministry of FGC JB very quickly. I think I mentioned it last week. We launched it on the 24th of July 2016. We had about 30 over people came, but eventually we only have 19 people that joined us. So what happened was that we actually have our own in-house training. Even though we have River Life came in to actually help us to launch it and to pitch the talk, but we can't be always having them every week to come and tell us, right? So we actually have our own in-house training, and then there you see, these are our first batch of those people who came and joined us, and also the in-house training. After this picture was taken, they were actually sent to the different halls to actually start taking photos. And that was really very challenging because that was a time, right, where people first time see so many photographers going around, start shooting photo, and then they got shocked and said, what's happening? Do we have paparazzi in the church right now? And then I'm not too sure. Did you receive any call then?
No.
No? Nobody come and complain?
They probably don't know my phone number.
Okay, so let me just continue on. Then after that, we have our second, recruitment. So that's when River Life came in again. So they show us how to use cameras, and we have some exhibition photos that were taken. These are just part of the people were there. And after the second recruitment, right, actually we have more a structured training program. So what happened was that all the new recruits, right, then actually learn all the basic of the photography, and we have actually 4 classes, and followed by practical session where they will go around and shoot like scenery, flowers, and then after that they will get to shoot some people in the church. It will last about 2 months. Then we actually have a graduation session. It's actually quite interesting where we get all of them to come. And Sebastian, did you go through the graduation?
Yes.
Yes, huh?
Yeah.
So you graduated lah?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So what did you do during the graduation day?
I think we go to 3 type of tasks, and then we can then we finish all our tasks, then we can graduate our media.
It's more like an exam.
Yeah, exam.
Examination to say that whether you are actually allowed to be graduated. Have you come to one of our sessions?
I cannot remember.
You can't remember.
Mm.
Okay. So thereafter, right, they will be actually given the black T-shirt, but with none of us wearing today. So they wear the media team T-shirt and then they go to services and shoot. So let me quickly tell you why media ministry. Okay, first of all, why media ministry is that we want to document church life. Most of people will think that church is really boring or very solemn. They will sit there and this is what they do. Dun, 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 dun. No, most of the show all like that. If not, it's hallelujah, amen, that kind of things. Like this is very different. When we started to show these photos online, right, you see that people was like, wow, this is really church life. And then you recognize this guy in the photo? He's next to me. I'm next to a celebrity. Whoa! Yeah. Then he's always laughing and preaching and with such a lively thing that is ongoing in the church. And church life is really very colorful. So I always like this photo taken by one of our members, and this really speaks about what church life is all about. It's very beautiful, very colorful. The next is the Kairos moment. What is the Kairos moment? Kairos, this word is an ancient Greek word meaning the right, critical and opportune moment. It signifies a proper or opportune time for action. It is God-appointed time to act. It's a moment when the Holy Spirit draws near to a special work in and through a person or a group. So in this photo, you see how this sister was worshiping God. And the next photo, these people, they come together and pray and minister to one another. Next, we amplify the message. Sometimes word itself is insufficient. A lot of times, right, we talk and we tell people, but when they see the photo, let me show you the photo once again. It speaks really louder than just by word itself. We were trying to get family to go for a mission trip, and so this is one of those trips where whole family, where there are kids, young kids go for a mission trip, then they see for themselves, they can bring people, even the children, to go to mission trip, and how to minister to the poor, to the less fortunate people. Of course, media ministry is for those with such a talent and calling. So hey, I'm sitting next to a celebrity also. Do you recognize one of the person in the photo? Yeah, let me show you one more time. Ta-da! Yes. Okay. So Sebastian is one of them. Sebastian, at what age you join us?
14.
14 years old.
Not 40.
14 years old. Later, I'm going to get him to share his testimony. At 14 years old, why would he think that he can join this ministry? Okay. So for those who are talented, and it's really very hard work. You see this guy, in order to try to make sure that he capture the bread and cup, he actually tried this like 3 to 4 times, not 30 times, sorry. So he keep trying to shoot the right moment. Of course, it is not without challenges. Actually, this ministry face a lot of challenges. Let me just share with you some of the challenges that we face. Challenge number one is budget versus ROI. A lot of times, right, people will think that if the money they put in, can I have the return of investment? Like any other company, they always talk about return of investment. For example, you put in 50,000. In the business term, 50,000 means how much in return? What I'm talking about? Let's say you put in 50,000.
Okay. How much you want to return? What kind of return are you looking at?
Let's just talk about monetary form. So let's say I invest 50,000. So
if it's 10%, then you will be looking at 5,000.
Per year or something like that.
Yeah.
So eventually they want to see that this money that they put in, maybe after 5 years, 4 years, there will be return of investment of 50,000, and then after that 100,000, maybe even 200,000. Barefoot. But in church, right, when you put in money for such ministry, you don't really see it because you can't really quantify by just monetary form. So the challenges of budget versus ROI. And when people ask why church so spend this money for such a thing, and it's very hard to answer a lot of times. But I thank God this is a church where we grew up in learning to depend on God. When money is not enough, so to say, when there is no direct fund coming from the church, we really receive offering from people to buy us gears, to buy us things. We have people gave us tripod, monopod. We have people give us cameras. We have people give us drone. We have a lot of blessing come from people around. So don't worry about whether church has enough money to support. If you are one of those who are looking at wanting to start this ministry and church doesn't have a lot of fund for it, pray. God will really supply in the ways that you cannot imagine. The second thing that I'm looking at is always skill versus character. Those people are very skillful, but if they have character problem, what do you do with them? Is it because that they are so skillful, so you don't dare to offend them, so let them do whatever they want to do, even though they come late and then they leave early, but because they are very skillful, so they shoot a lot beautiful, then they don't have character, what to do? I think it all boils down to character building and discipleship. I find it over the years, this is one of those ministries really can put what God has told us in the Great Commission, where you go and make disciples of all nations, teaching them to obey what I have commanded you. So I realized for the past 4 years, I get more chances to really share God's word, to disciple the people. Of course, I'm not perfect. I try my best to disciple the people. The third areas of challenges is accomplishment versus development. Do you want to develop people, or you're just trying to get a task done? I think James would see how I was really fumbled along the way, where my horns came out and then I got frustrated because things not get done, and he has really been my help and counsel me, give me a lot of insight to deal with different expectation and realign me to what I'm supposed to do. So accomplishment versus development, that is another challenge that we face all the time, especially during this MCO. People are looking at how is the video being done. When I remember there are times that the video are not shown, people question, or there are things that run not so smooth, then people start texting. Then he replied and said that, well, this is normal. So what why I got two of them to come, well, firstly, James sit next to me, is to share with us some of his insight, because he wasn't directly involved, but in a way he was really very involved with us, because a lot of things I report to him, I talk to him, not just because he is the overseer of this ministry, but he has always been my mentor, has always been my spiritual father. So I went to him a lot and asked him for his opinion and ideas and things that I cannot resolve. So can you just share with us some of the things that you see over the years?
Yeah, I think one of the very important things is when you are starting anything, you have to ask what is the value of this particular ministry? Where is this ministry leading us? And I think initially we started because Nigel really has a passion to want to do something connected with media ministry. And so many churches also have media ministry. So he said, okay, fine, do media ministry. But media ministry is really very expensive. Cameras itself, one camera can cost several $1,000s. And so after about 1 year of training, of embarking into media ministry, of course, after you go first round, you need to go second round, you need to raise more funds, buy more equipment. And so I started asking myself, is this worth it? Is it worth it? Is the ministry worth continuing, taking on so many man hours, spending so much money? So basically, it's a question on return on investment. The hours you put in, the money you pour in, whether it's worth it. And so it was in one of those prayers that we had during the English service staff prayer. I was really seeking God. God, where do we go where this is concerned? And the Lord laid upon my heart a verse that has stuck with me to this day for the media ministry. And it's the verse that is taken from Habakkuk chapter 2, verse 2. Well, then the Lord replied, write down the message I am showing you in a vision. Write it clearly on the tablets you use. Then a messenger can read it and run to announce it. Well, the context may not be so appropriate, but what is more important is the process. God spoke to Habakkuk, gave Habakkuk a message, and then what Habakkuk is supposed to do is Habakkuk is supposed to write it down. Habakkuk is supposed to record it. And so in this present day, he writes it on a tablet, a clay tablet, just like we write it in a book. But today we write it not just in a book, we record it on photographs, we record it on video. And then after that, in order to get the message out, the messenger is supposed to read it, to run it, to announce it. So in this present day and time, we can also send the message out. We can send the message out through letters, through publication. We can send the message out through Twitter, through YouTube, through Facebook, through all these various means. And so the way I see it is that this is really God's desire. And why is this so? Because the Bible tells us in Mark chapter 16, verse 15, it says, go and preach the gospel to all the world, to every creature. And so Christianity really is about a message, about the gospel. And, gospel in Chinese is 福音,好消息, good news. And so it's a message. And what we are supposed to do is take the message out, put out the message. And so in every generation, the message, the content of the message is the same. But how the message is broadcast may be different from time to time. In the early years, like the one that is recorded in Habakkuk, you need to send out this guy, this herald, to go and broadcast. Then subsequently, they have newspapers or have books. And then you have radio and television. Now you have online platform and digital platform. So because of that, I feel that if the goal of the church is to send out the message, then the media department or the media ministry can really help us to bring this message to a greater group of people. Then I think it is worthwhile and important. And in doing media ministry, we are consistent with the Great Commission that God has given to us. In fact, it makes the Great Commission even more achievable. And therefore, we should spend money and time and energy.
Yeah. After that, I'll put in more budget. Okay.
Yeah.
So, you heard about it. The message has to be sent out. Imagine if like the Bible says, if no one is being sent, how can they hear? The sending doesn't mean that the person only go physically. Because right now in this age, right, in this current age of this era, the sending a message, it is through internet. It is through the broadcast. Before that, those days, we don't even have YouTube. I remember when I was much younger, you remember those days you want to dial up
1511.
1511 or
1711 or something like that. Yeah.
Those days, it's impossible to YouTube, right? Because you want to watch something also so difficult. And those were the days where you watch CD. Then after that, it became DVD. But nowadays, DVD, I mean, still selling or Blu-ray. But a lot more, it's already on YouTube. If you don't develop that, then how is it possible that you will reach more people, right? So I think as you shared what is really you felt the development.
Yeah.
And actually, what was the thing I wanted you to share? That's the one.
Over the past 4 years.
Yeah, over the past 4 years, what is it that you observe in this ministry?
Well, I think the more I think about media, you know how there's this phrase that says a picture paints 1,000 words. And then if you understand video, right? Video sometimes has 60 FPS, which means they have 60 different slides per second. So it's got 60 pictures in 1 second. So if a picture paints 1,000 words, 1 second of video paints a lot more pictures and a lot more words. And after watching what the media department or media ministry has produced, one of the things that I realized is media actually has this ability to invite the person to experience the sound and the sight of the things that they want to show them. Like just now, Nigel showed you the picture of the mission field. Immediately, you don't have to imagine. A lot of times when we are trying to understand someone, we are using our own experiences, we are using our own imagination, making assumption of what it is like. But through photographs, through videos, we are able to see the actual sight and sound of that place. And so media actually invites the people to experience for themselves. Even though they are not there, they have not been there, there's that kind of connection. So I believe that the media ministry in and of itself is very powerful. And so since the existence of the media ministry, if you go to Full Gospel JB channel on YouTube, you can see many of the videos we produce that are listed there. Of course, the media team has worked very hard to put out all this material. I think there are 4 key things that I feel that has impacted the church. One of the main things is that it has brought unity. How does it bring unity? It brings unity in 2 ways. One is by getting the brothers and sisters, the members of the church on the same page. Because we are quite a large church, we have many ministries. A lot of people don't know what another ministry is doing. Some people don't even know the existence of some ministries in the church, important ministries. And so by recording this and broadcasting some of these snippets on Sunday services, everybody gets on the same page. When you have common experience, then you have an opportunity to achieve unity. So I think that is tackling the present.
Yes.
The news must go out so everybody knows what is happening. Yes. So that's number one. The other thing that builds unity is the archive that we have achieved. When we share a common past, then it is easier for us to unite. It is easier for us to share a common identity so that we can move forward together. And so some of the things that we recorded over the past 4 years are there in the internet. I remember one video I was very encouraged was the Family Day video.
Oh yes.
Where basically we just shoot faces of the different people. Yeah. And when it was shown in the church, I think it was 1 minute, 2 minutes video?
One and a half,
Yeah.
about that.
A lot of work just to put out that 1.5 minutes video, but the impact was that suddenly everybody feel connected with one another. Yes, we are part of this family, and that's what it does to us. So it brings through it unites the people by telling people what is happening at the present moment, and also it helps by reminding people of what actually took place in the past. Yes. To have a common identity. One of the reasons why we actually miss one another is because of the good memories we have. And so the video records the good memories that when people look at it, they say, yeah, I was there. I was at this place. I was at this meeting. Yeah, I was with this group of people. That kind of thing.
Yes,
so one key thing is that it brings unity. The second thing which Nigel has mentioned, it builds people. People who are talented in the technical field. People who are behind the scene. A lot of times our focus is on people standing right in front of the stage. But the video crew, the photographic crew, the media crew is always behind the scene. And what I can see over these past 4 years is more and more people are raised. And there are those people who may not be able to stand up front and talk, but they're very skillful in handling this equipment. And through them, the message can be brought up. The other thing that I feel that is very, very important, I actually look at it before I check it out. I notice that every week, right, the number of clicks, number of views on our videos for English and also Chinese service, if you add both together, we actually have about 1,000 views on an average. Some more, some less. What it means is that the people who come to church, and we minister to the people who comes to church. But beyond that, we actually have another 1,000 viewers who actually take the trouble to go to our website and watch the video. Okay, and so that means that we do not just reach the 2,000 or 3,000 people we have in the church, but we actually minister to another 1,000 people. So it extends the reach of the church. Without this media ministry, we will not be able to reach out to that 1,000 people. Some people cannot come to church, but now they're able to watch the video. So I feel that is very important.
I always remember the story when I was still a lot younger. Pastor was saying that this auntie who can't really walk and is so desire to go to church, but now it's not a problem anymore. Of course, it can be a problem.
Sure.
As long as they have internet, you don't have to watch such a high resolution. But to a certain extent, she can still, if she's still alive today, she's able to attend church to some extent.
Yeah, at least they can, they can feel a part of the congregation. They can still listen to familiar people sharing their lives with them. So I feel that actually extends the reach of the church. Another area that I feel that is very important is it has always been one of the ethos of the church to be a kingdom church. To be a kingdom church means to be a blessing to other churches, because one church alone cannot do all the work. We need other people, and that's why Nigel was talking about the seminars we run, and also the media academy, and we do it intentionally to bless our own church brothers and sisters, as well as brothers and sisters from other churches. And especially during this period of time, we were involved in some form of consultation with other churches with regards to media ministry, so that through them, their congregation and the people that are connected to members of their church can be blessed. And so when I look at all this, I say, wow, media ministry in a certain and definite way has actually enlarged the tent of the church.
Some of you do not know about this media academy. We ran it last year, we ran it this year, and actually part of the cost was bear by the church, because we invite people to come in. They are not expected to be paid fully, but we can't also just take it like nothing. We do give them some offering, but the fee that we collected, it will not be so much so that we can actually cover.
Not sufficient.
Not sufficient. So the church, in this sense, right, I really want to thank God that this church has not just plowed in the money for the gears, but they actually put aside the money to bless the people who come in to be trained.
I can tell a story which is very relevant at this moment. One pastor from another church told me, and she was telling me that one of her church member actually came to attend the media academy.
Oh.
And the media academy ended in?
You mean this year?
This year, yes.
This year we actually haven't ended. We are supposed to have graduation, but because of this COVID-19, we're supposed to have a graduation end of March, right, Sebastian?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, end of March. Okay.
But then we couldn't. The last 2 weeks supposed to be
Assignment.
Assignment.
Yeah.
They're supposed to rush all their videos, and so during the graduation can show the video, but we couldn't run the graduation. So technically, we haven't ended.
One of the students actually has done the assignment very well. So because of this COVID-19, the pastor of the church really felt that, okay, we cannot meet physically anymore, so we have to go online. And out of the church of probably more than 100 people, she's the only person who knows how to go online. And so she designed the system, the flow, and then they went house to the church members' house to teach them how to go online. So that when they broadcast the service, the old people, those who are not so technically savvy, will know how to get onto it.
Wow.
And so she told me, said, wow, this is the blessing of God. God can see beforehand and even prepare this just for the church. And she was really grateful for what we were able to do for this particular member of the church.
Wow. Praise God.
Just
Praise
in
God.
time,
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. So, the last question. Okay. I want to ask you, do you think this media ministry is relevant to all churches? Yes or no? Why?
I think the goal of every church, really, the Great Commission, is to preach the gospel. And if media ministry can help us to bring the message further, bring the message quicker, then why not? So if the church is able to set aside, have the personnel, have the talent, set aside the money to be able to do something like that, then that would be wonderful. And I guess the recent MCO and then the CMCO and the RMCO, where we are not allowed to meet, actually raises or spotlights the importance of the media ministry in connecting with our brothers and sisters. But the other thing that I want to highlight is this. Media ministry, at its most basic, it's a medium. It is just a medium. It is a tool to help you to broadcast what you have. The question is, what do you have? What kind of content do you have? If you have the right kind of life, then when you broadcast it, you will also preach or impart the right kind of life, the right kind of value. And so I feel that what is important is for leaders and pastors of churches to really spend time building their church, to have the right values. And then when they broadcast this, the content will really be beneficial to people. And so if they already have it, then broadcasting is a good thing. But if they don't have it, then maybe they can spend more time taking care of the church and learn how to broadcast, maybe not in such great amount, but in lesser amount. But I think it is something that we all cannot escape from. Yeah. Like the recent MCO, CMCO period, we all have no choice but to learn how to use Zoom.
Yes.
Yeah.
I remember when I went to mission trip many years ago, there was this American pastor who told me there was the time internet was available but not so common. So he was thinking, how can we reach those people in inland, those indigenous people? How to show them? So they actually came up with this thing where the Jesus film, and then they designed a small projector, go there, show it, and preach the gospel. And when they sit in a bus, sit next to a person, they just take out a phone and you want to watch a shorter version and show them. So now when I look back, I realize, isn't that what we are doing now? The only thing difference is that now it's in a broader scale, larger scale, where people really watch the thing in the bus all the time. And the guy next to me, this young man, I think he watches YouTube every day.
Every day. Every day.
Every day. And what are the contents that we put up? Just now James mentioned to us, if you have content, then really you need to put it up. You need to think of a way to put it up. But of course, building up people is very important. So with that, I also want to give Sebastian a chance. He has been really quiet sitting there. You know how old is he? He is
19 this year.
He's 19 years old. He's been with us since the start of the cannot be what? This ministry is 4 years old. Oh, so you are turning 19 this year, right?
Yeah. This year.
19.
Yeah.
So it's about 4 years plus. So with these 4 years in the ministry, why you stuck to us for so long? So why don't you tell us from the beginning why you joined this ministry, how you got into this ministry, how you
Okay. I think this ministry is very cool. You take a camera, walk here, walk there. Everybody look at you. Also, I love to take photos also, and I think every photo tells a story.
But why? How you actually got into this?
Okay.
Because I remember this.
It's very funny.
You were actually your mom signed you up, isn't it?
My mom signed me up. Yeah.
Take my son.
How you felt when your mom signed you up?
Okay. I'm very scared. I don't know everything. Then, but that time at a container, we are attending class. But I don't want to go in one. I'm very scared. I don't know. I don't like to how to say
Mix with people.
Mix with people. And that time I just go in. Then I started to learn many things.
Okay. So besides learning skill, how has this ministry helped you with your walk with God?
I think helped me a lot because in the time so long already, when I see picture, I can tell the Kairos moment when God helped them to see how God do things, how to touch them.
Right.
Yeah.
Good. The truth of the matter is this. This guy doesn't like to share. Tonight, for him to appear here is really a miracle. Let's give him a clap. He didn't share much of this part, but there was a period of time he was even thinking of not wanting to continue with the church anymore, right?
Yeah.
Because he's very quiet, and he felt that. I helped him to share a little bit because I watched him grow. He didn't want to go on with the church because he felt he couldn't
Fit in.
Not really. He didn't really have friends. He didn't really know what to do. There's no ministry that he can join. He can't play musical instruments. I don't think he enjoys singing that much. There's a lot of things that he felt he can't do.
The usual things in the church.
Yeah, usual things in the church. Of course, with him being such an introvert, how is it possible for him to join usher?
Yeah.
It's even impossible. So, but when this ministry birthed off, that gave him a place to go into, a place to feel belong. And that's when he started to join the church again, and he grew with us. And I remember someone was telling me how after he took photos sometime, he felt that he really need to spend time with God. So I was really very thankful.
They need to spend time with God to know what is the Kairos moment.
Yeah. So
know when God is moving.
So he does his own what I call devotion time and learn how to hear from God. And this ministry has really turned quite a number of people's life around. Of course, I'm not saying that this is the ministry, the only ministry can do that, and lives turn around because of this. I'm not saying that. But there are those, because of this ministry, had a chance to encounter God in a very special and different way.
Especially for those who have a calling in this particular area, or the gifts or the talents that God has placed within them for this area. And when they are able to put it to good use, they have a sense of satisfaction, of belonging. Yeah.
Yes. I always remember my media mentor. He always tell me in the beginning, when the ministry first started off, he said, don't look at gears, don't run after more gears, because if the people are not being built up, and recently he called me again, reminded me once again, it's all about discipleship, it's about building people. If the people are not being built up, even you have the best gears in the world, it is still amount to nothing. But when you have people, they will think of a way. I know of this church, he has this young man, he earned his own money, he buy his own gear, he produced videos for the church. So in a way, if you really train the people up, really invest time with them, they will churn out the good content. Maybe not really under the church, so to say, but they will come up with content good enough to impact the world, to tell them the right value. Doesn't have to be really under the church, what I call it, umbrella, and say, oh, must believe in Jesus. But how can we love people? And from then, when they are being influenced, then they will probably open up themselves to the gospel eventually. The last few minutes, I promise you that I want to share with you some of the gears that we are using. So I will just quickly let you know. We are using Canon largely for all the DSLR. One of the reasons why we use Canon, number one, is that it takes quite good photo. Number two, it takes quite good videos. I won't comment on the rest of the gears, whether they are, but
You mean other brands?
yeah, I won't comment on other brands. But I realized that, this is what I
You
found,
prefer.
what I found out and what I prefer. And it also has a very long battery time.
Oh, okay.
So mirrorless might be quite fast in action, but their battery also run out quite fast. So when we shoot photo and videos, mix and match, I realized Canon really can handle this very well. In terms of video camera, we are using Sony. This is the market leader. And also because I realized that the way of handling the gears are also quite user-friendly. And we are using software such as Wirecast, we already mentioned last week. But what I didn't mention is that for those that we want to know, how do you put lyrics when you're having worship time, when you have actually some announcement things you want to go inside, you can use Pro Presenter. Pro Presenter is fit for Windows and Mac. If I'm not mistaken, it can be used for one computer, but also have another license where it goes by premises. So you can look into that. The other one that we didn't use, but I think is also not too bad, is called Media Shout. Media Shout. So it's one word, MEDIASHOUT. If I'm not mistaken also, the founder is actually a Christian. So he did this in view of how churches can use this. Then we also use, what other software that we use already? It just went blank. Oh, we use Final Cut Pro because
Video editing.
for video editing. We use Final Cut Pro because one good thing is one license can use 10 machines. So you don't have to keep subscribing, keep renewing your subscription, keep paying for every machine. And most of the time, their upgrades are all free. Meaning from one version to the other, they allow you to just update. And the plugin they give is quite good already. And recently, all the upgrade from the software really helps to make the processing even faster.
Right.
So I really enjoy Final Cut Pro. And one last thing that I want to mention is that, never forget, the best gear that, I won't say gear, the best person that walk beside you is really God. This is a ministry that only God can lead you. Because if we want to fight with the world, there is no way. They have no limit to what they can produce in that sense. All the vulgarity, sexuality, they have no boundaries. Whatever they want to do, they can just do. We are pretty much like bounded by, must be Christian based. But think about it, because God has no limit. He has ways of really showing His love and message. When you depend on God in running your ministry, media ministry, you actually have endless ideas of what you want to do. So in this, before I close, I want to thank God for Sebastian for really pluck out his courage to come and share with us. I want to thank James. He's actually very busy. This period of time, he's really very, very packed. We are all being packed to the max to do a lot of things. So I want to thank him for coming up here. I want to thank you for watching. If you are watching this not even live now, it's okay, you watch after. I still want to thank you for watching. And whatever you heard, if you felt that God is prompting you to do something, start doing it. In small scale, it's okay. And if you have any questions like what I said last week, come and come and visit us. Come and ask us. I won't even say consult. Come and ask us our opinions or what we have gone through. We are more than willing to share.
Yeah, come and chat with us.
Yeah, come and chat with us. Yes. So thank you so much. Right after this, if you know, if you understand Chinese, there is a Bible class that will be shared by one of our pastors, Brother Ivan. It's on the book of Jude. So once again, thank you for joining us tonight. Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Thank you.